Hello students, welcome to the part 2 of the transpiration. In today's lecture, we are going to learn about the different kind of the transpiration and how the plants act. Okay, so see, first kind of transpiration. There are different kinds of transpiration: stomatal transpiration, cuticular transpiration, and lenticular transpiration. This all transpirations we are going to discuss them in detail today. Okay, you are quite very familiar with this word, that is the stomatal. Okay, so let's start with the lecture. This is a stomatal transpiration. Okay, let's start. About 90%, 90 to 95% of the water is lost through the stomata. About 90 to 95%. Okay, let's understand the structure of the stomata first. See, this kidney shaped beans like structures, this are called the guard cells. This green color particles which are present inside these guard cells are called chloroplast. Okay, this black colored dots are called the nucleus. The outermost part of the guard cell is the cell wall, which we have already studied in the plant cell, and this is the epidermal cell. Epidermal, you have already heard about this word in your 9th standard. Epidermis means the upper skin, okay, the upper layer of the leaf. And the opening which is present between this guard cell is called stoma. The word stoma is singular, okay, and stomata means many of those. So this is the basic structure. Now we are going to move to the next one. Let's understand about this stomata first. Where these stomata are present? This stomatal are present more on the underside of the leaf. Okay, what do you mean by underside? See, we know the structures of the leaf. Let's perform this experiment so that we can get a perfect conclusion regarding the stomata, okay, where the number of the stomata is more. Is it on the upper side or it is on the lower side? Use of the cobalt chloride paper to demonstrate the unequal part of the transpiration in the dorsiventral leaf. Okay, so I am going to explain you the meaning of the dorsiventral. Dorsi means the backside. Dorsi means the backside, and the ventral means the front side. Okay. What is the original color of the cobalt chloride paper? It is blue, as we have already discussed this in the part 1. Okay, what happens when this cobalt chloride comes in contact with the water vapor? It turns pink. So let's perform this. This is the upper surface of the leaf. Let's take a leaf. Okay, this is the upper surface which we are going to call ventral side. Ventral means the front side, and this is the lower, this is the same leaf, but now we are going to take on the lower surface. Okay, lower surface means the dorsal side. Dorsal means the back side of the leaf. When we kept the dry cobalt chloride paper, okay, and we attached with the clip so that we can prove where the stomata are present more. So when we notice in the ventral side, the blue dry cobalt chloride paper didn't change its color. Okay, it was blue only. But when we took the dorsal side, so this cobalt chloride paper from color blue, it turned into pink. So this experiment clearly symbolizes that there are more number of stomata on the dorsal side, means the lower surface. Okay, this experiment proves that there are more number of stomata on the dorsal side than the ventral. See, on the ventral side, it is nothing like that. See, even the transpiration is going to occur from the ventral side, but this blue color paper here is going to take a lot of time to turn pink. So this experiment clearly symbolizes that there are the few openings on the upper surface, that is the ventral side. Okay, now this is a cross section of a leaf. If you are going to see the leaf in a cross way, so what are the structures you are going to see? You are going to see the cuticle. Okay, see, there was one word, cuticular transpiration, so I am going to discuss about this part also, but later. This is the epidermis layer. Okay, epidermis means the upper layer. This is the palisade mesophyll. This palisade mesophyll helps during the photosynthesis, which we are going to cover in the next chapter, that is a photosynthesis. Palisade. Okay, this is the veins. Okay, what are the veins? We can see in every leaf. Okay, we get this structure. Okay, this is nothing but the veins. This is the lower epidermis. Like upper epidermis, there is a lower epidermis also. Okay, there is this spongy mesophyll. What is the spongy mesophyll? This spongy mesophyll is consists of water and carbon dioxide. Okay, a lot of air and water is present inside this spongy mesophyll. So that is why the word spongy has been given, because there is a lot of free space in between this leaf. Okay, and we know on the lower surface there are a lot of stomata, as we have proved in the previous experiment. Okay, on the lower epidermis there is a presence of the stomata, which is protected by the guard cell. So what happens in this mechanisms? So before starting of this cross section of a leaf, we would start with the basic definition of a diffusion. What does diffusion says? Diffusion says कि movements of the substance from the region of the higher concentration to the region of the lower concentration. Okay, this is the definition. Now, why I made you learn this definition? Because I'm going to explain you the process, like how the plants lose the water from the stomatal side, like this, from here. So for that, diffusion is quite necessary. See, now we have to take two sides. One is the inner and the outer. This is the inner side of the leaf, and atmosphere, I'm going to write here atmosphere. Atmosphere is the outer side. Okay, and this leaves is the inner side. The inner wall of the stomata, see this side, I mean to say this, has the higher vapor concentration. What do you mean by that? It has the higher water concentration, it has the highest vapor concentration, means that is it has a huge amount of the water molecules inside this spongy mesophyll region. Okay, and with respect to the atmospheric vapor is quite less, and inside this it is quite high. So what is the definition of a diffusion? Diffusion says movements of the water molecules from the region of higher concentration to the lower concentration. So what is going to happen? The water which is present inside this spongy mesophyll is going to move out to the atmosphere. Okay, it is going to move out to the atmosphere. Why it is going to move out of the atmosphere? Because here in the atmosphere the level of the water is quite low and the water inside this leaf is quite high. Okay, so that is why the transpiration occurs. Now a question will arise. So how does this spongy mesophyll get the water. This spongy mesophyll, when lose excess amount of water, gets dries up. So if this plants continuously gets dry up, so after a certain period of a time the plant will die. But these veins which are present in the leaves, okay, helps this spongy mesophyll to replenish. What do you mean by replenish? If suppose I am feeling thirsty, so what I am going to do? I am going to drink water. So this is the way I am going to replenish. So same like that. These veins, okay, what are veins? I made you understand. This is the structure, okay. And this leaf is going to carry the water, okay, and these veins will transport the water, okay, to the leaves. So because of this, the plant does not dries and the plants does not die also, okay, die also. So this vein is the primary source of the plants, whose function is to replenish the leaves, okay. This is the mechanisms of the leaf. Now we are going to discuss the cuticle in detail, so let's keep it on hold right now. Stomatal regulation. So I have kept this slide blank because I want you to think over this part. See, we have studied during daytime, the stomatas are open, okay, these guard cells are open. But what happens during the night time? This stomata become flaccid like this, which close the leaves, okay, which close these guard cells, and because of this, the transpiration or the exchange of the gas does not take place during the night time. But during daytime, the stomata are widely open. Why? For photosynthesis process, okay, for the diffusion of gases and all. So stomatal regulation during daytime is like this: the guard cell become turgid, and during night time it becomes flaccid. So I'm going to take an example so that you can understand it perfectly. There are some leaves which wilt during midday and recover in the evening, okay, which wilt during day and recovers in the evening. Let's take an example to understand in a more clear way. This is a balsam plant, okay. What is the function of this balsam plant? See, the leaves of these plants wilt during midday. In fact, there is a plenty of water in the soil. See, soil has a lot of water. Then too, the leaves of this balsam get wilted, okay, like this, okay, gets droop down. Because why this happens? Because the rate of absorption is less than the rate of transpiration. This says that during daytime this balsam plant lost a lot of water, means the rate of transpiration is higher, okay. As the rate of transpiration is too higher in the balsam plant during the midday, the leaf droops down or get wilted. But what happens during the night? See, in the night the temperature is not high. Okay, as the temperature is not high, so there is no loss of water through transpiration. So when this balsam plant does not leave any water, loss any water, the leaves can reacquire and can stand out erect. Okay, during night time the rate of absorption exceeds the rate of transpiration. Okay, so that is why they can maintain their turgidity, so that the balsam plants does not dies up. Now we are going to discuss about the cuticular transpiration. Let's understand what do you mean by cuticular. The word cuticular, the word cuticles is the waxy layer secreted by the epidermis. Okay, this is the epidermis. The layer which is formed above the epidermis is called the cuticle. Around 3 to 10% of the water is lost by these cuticles. Okay, around 3 to 10%. What is the function of these cuticles? So in the previous slide we have studied during the midday the rate of transpiration is high than the rate of absorption. So how it is possible for the desert plants to survive in extreme hot condition? If the rate of transpiration in the desert region will be too high, so definitely there won't be any chance of the survival of the cactus plants or any other plants. But because of these cuticles, okay, because of these cuticles, this thick layer which is formed above the epidermis protects the leaf. Okay, how it protects? Because it covers all the pores. Okay, all the holes get hidden by this cuticle part. As all the holes get covered by this cuticle part, so there would be the less of transpiration and more of absorption. You can see this in the cactus. Cuticular transpiration is very well suited for the xerophytic plants. What do you mean by xerophytic plants? In which the region is dry and hot. Okay, see, the line says the greater the thickness of cuticle, the lesser the transpiration. Greater the thickness of cuticle, lesser the transpiration. Now we are going to learn the third type of transpiration, that is the lenticular transpiration. Okay, first we will understand what are the lenticels. Lenticels are the special opening that develops on the bark of the stems. Okay, see, this is a stem and there are some minute openings like this cut kind of a part you can see. Okay, this cut kind of a plants you can see out here. So this cut kind of a plants which are present on the stem also lose the water, but this lenticels only lose one maximum up to 1% of the water. So this says that there is a loss of water in the lenticel is very less as compared to stomata and cuticular. Okay, the highest loss of transpiration would occur in the stomata, then cuticular, and then the lenticels. Okay, and these lenticels are open whole day. Okay, as in the stomata are open during the daytime and closed during the night, but lenticels are open throughout the day. And these lenticels we can see in the more of the cold region, this lenticels condition. Now what factors affect the rate of transpiration? Let's discuss them in detail. See, intensity of light. See, more the sunlight, more the transpiration. Less the sunlight, less the transpiration. Okay, this is quite very easy. Let's understand what is a temperature difference. Suppose on a certain day the temperature is more, so what happens in the humans? We sweat a lot. But what happens on a day when there is a lot of coldness? So on that day we lose almost negligible sweat. So same like that, if the temperature is higher outside, so definitely there will be a lot of evaporation. Okay, as there would be lot of evaporation, so there would be more of transpiration also. So this intensity of light and temperature is quite similar nature only. Now velocity of wind. Velocity of wind. If the velocity of the wind increases, the transpiration will also increases. If the velocity of wind decreases, the transpiration will also decrease. See, if the wind blows quite higher like this, so definitely there will be a loss of water vapor. Okay, the water will not get saturated. So velocity of a wind, you can assume this in during the winter seasons, when you take bath and when you clean yourself with towel. At that period of a time also there is a loss of water very fast, because you get easily dry up. Same like that in the plants. Now humidity. See, we always says that during it becomes very easy for a person to dry the clothes in the month of summer, but the same clothes when we keep to dry up in the month of the rainy season, it takes a lot of time. So this factor is humidity. Okay, suppose if the humidity is more, definitely the rate of transpiration would be less. If humidity is less, so transpiration would be more. Okay, so this humidity concept, carbon dioxide and atmospheric pressure works in a similar fashion. Okay, when the humidity increase, transpiration goes down. When humidity decreases, the rate of transpiration will increase. Okay, so this goes hand in hand. So the above three shows a direct relation. Okay, when there was an increase, so it was an increase. But the below three, humidity, carbon dioxide and the atmospheric pressure, when there was a decrease, so here also, when there was a decrease, here it was an increase in the rate of transpiration. Now this was regarding the external factors. Let's talk about the internal factors now. There is only one internal factor which affects the rate of transpiration, that is the water contents of the leaf. See, if the water content of the leaf decreases due to the insufficient absorption of water by the roots, so what is going to happen? The leaf is going to get wilted down and the transpiration will reduce. It's a very easy one. See, if you are going to drink less water in the month of summer, so what is going to happen? Your body will become dehydrated. So what is going to happen? So we are going to do? We are going to drink a lot of water in the month of summer. Why we are going to drink a lot of water in the month of summer? So that our body does not get dehydrated. Same like that. when there is an insufficient water inside the leaf. Okay, the plants will get wilt, and due to this the rate of transpiration will reduce. Okay, see, plants can't lose much of water. If they lose much of water, they will die. So that is why the rate of transpiration reduces when the absorption level is very less. Now we are going to understand adaptation in plants to reduce excessive transpiration. How the transpirations can be reduced. First, we are going to discuss about the sunken stomata. This sunken stomata. First, take an I am going to give you an example, that is the nerium. Nerium. Okay. What happens in a nerium? The stomata. See, this is a guard cell, and here the guard cells, here there are some hairs. Okay, especially in the nerium only you are going to get these cases. There are a lot of hair. So this stomata, this opening is covered by a lot of hair. So what is the function of this hair? These hairs prevent the loss of water, because whenever the plants tends to lose water, so all the water will stick to this hairs. Okay, so there would be no loss of water. Sunken stomata. This was about the sunken stomata. Now, fewer stomata. This is a very clear saying. See, less the stomata numbers, less the transpiration. More the stomata, more the transpiration. Narrow leaves. See, this narrow leaves. See, as in the condition sunken stomata, it leads to a narrow leaves. What do you mean by a narrow leaves? Let's understand. See, what is going to happen in nerium? What happens? These leaves, okay, they become quite narrow like this. So what is going to happen? See, narrow the size of leaf, lesser the transpiration. Broader the size of leaf, the more transpiration is going to occur. See, this is narrow quite. Okay, this is quite narrow, so the less of transpiration is going to occur. If bigger the size of the leaf, more transpiration is going to occur. If suppose some of the leaves are not narrow, they are quite big only, as in a condition 4, what is going to happen with these plants? Suppose, let's take an example of this only. See, in this case you understood, narrow the leaf, narrow the transpiration. But in certain plants, okay, there is a big surface area of the leaf. See this part, there is a big surface. So how this big surface of the leaves tend to lose a less amount of water? Because what they does is, this condition occurs in the Hindu rope, okay, special type of a plant. What's happened in this, that they lose less water. How they lose less water? Because they have this special condition. What they does, they close their leaves or roll up. Okay, they get close their leaves. Okay, so what is going to happen? See, as the leaves get close, what does this indicates? That the plant does not want to lose a lot of water. Okay, see, bigger the size in the Hindu rope, the leaves get folded or rolled, and due to this there is a less amount of the water that has been lost. Now, loss of leaves. loss of leaves. As we have discussed the cuticular transpiration, that it occurs in a cactus. See, in some cases, leaves may droop or may be absent or change into the spines. Suppose let's draw cactus. Okay, this is a cactus. What are present out here? See, cactus does not have leaves, but they do have a spine. What is the function of the spines? As we know, the herbivorous animals are going to come to graze. Okay, they are going to eat the leaves. But here in cactus, the leaves are not present. There is the presence of the spines. The spines are quite spiky in nature. If any of the animals come near this cactus and tries to eat this, what is going to happen? They will get wounded. Okay, they will get hurt. So these spines protect them. See, there are no leaves. If cactus does not have leaves, so how they are going to lose the water? So that is why mostly the water is stored inside this stem only. Okay, this stem region of the cactus helps to store a water. Okay, because it does not have a leaves, it has a spines. So loss of leaf means does not have a leaves. Thick cuticle in mostly the evergreen plants or trees. Example, banyan. This upper surface, okay, which we call as a cuticle, is very thick in nature. So as I already mentioned, the more the thickness of cuticle, the lesser the transpiration. So it's a good example to give here is banyan plants. Okay, if you are going to see any banyan plants, so the leaves of the banyan will be quite thicker in nature. Significance of this transpiration. Is this transpiration is a loss? No, definitely no. This transpiration is quite good also. Like see, it is going to give us the cooling effect. See, if suppose, let's take a condition in humans. If we humans lose a lot of water from the body, what we does? We drink water. Okay, we replenish ourselves. But if suppose we humans does not lose the water through sweat, then what is going to happen? Our body temperature will rise, and because of that, the functioning inside the body won't be getting perfect. The same like that. If transpiration does not occurs in a plant, so enzymes which are present inside these plants won't lead to photosynthesis and other process of the plant. Okay, so because of this, the plants won't be survive only. So what happens? They lose their water and gives a cooling effect. Okay, whenever we sweat and when our plants also transpire, it gives a pleasant climate to the environment. Suction force we are going to discuss in detail. Let's keep it on a hold right now. Distribution of water and mineral salts. See, if plants draw more amount of water, if suppose plant lose a lot amount of water, so what is going to happen? The plant mechanism, okay, the plant mechanism, suppose this is a roots, okay, this is a stem, and we are going to draw leaves. So what is going to happen? It will take in much water and it is going to distribute. Okay, the arrow will move fast in the upward direction. So when the water and the mineral salt which is absorbed in the roots, okay, so what is the function of the xylem? To transport up the water and mineral salts evenly. So how it is possible? It is possible through the transpiration only, because transpiration helps the pooling of this water and the minerals. which helps the plants to get a perfect nourishments. Now suction force. See, we can see up here water absorbed by the root hair. This is the capillarity. Capillarity means nothing, the water which it is going to carry, the xylem vessel, and the water is lost by the transpiration, as we can see here in a blue arrow kind, and this capillarity helps the water to take in, okay, through adhesion and cohesion, which we have discussed. And what is this suction pressure? Let's understand. This suction pressure is also called as the transpirational pull. First we will understand that transpirational pull. Okay, in exam they ask what is transpirational pull, so you can call the transpiration pull is also called as this suction pressure. Suppose, let's assume a condition, if the water lost by this leaves is very high in nature, so what is going to happen? There would be pressure created inside this stem. Okay, there would be pressure created inside these stems. So what is the function of this pressure and why it is called the suction pressure also? There is one reason for this. What is the function of this suction pressure? The suction pressure will go down, okay, and will try the roots, okay, and try to reach to the roots, and the roots will absorb a lot of water, okay, lot of water and the minerals, and because of this there would be the creation of a vacuum, which we are going to call suction also, vacuum. When there would be a creation of a vacuum inside this xylem, okay, inside the stem, so this would lead to pull up the water very fast because the rate of transpiration is quite high. Okay, so because of this suction pressure there would be a lot of pulling of water and minerals and would be provided to the leaves very fast. So this suction pressure, you can take an example of a straw. Whenever you suck up any of the drink from the straw, so there is a creation of the vacuum. So what happens when the vacuum is created inside this straw? The liquid rises. Same like that, when there is a creation of vacuum inside this stem, here the roots feel the pressure, and because of this pressure there is a creation of vacuum which tends to move the water upwards. Now let's understand guttation. Okay, guttation. The leaves of certain plants exhibit droplets of water along the margin in the morning. See, this guttation occurs mainly during early morning or late nights. Why it occurs during early morning and late nights? The reason behind that, because in the morning and in the late nights the temperature is quite very low. Example, banana and nasturtium. Okay, we can see this leaf and we can see these water molecules also at the same period of a time. See this. Okay, there are a lot of water molecules which are present on the margin. Okay, we have discussed about the stomata, we have discussed about the cuticular also, but this is about the margins. Okay, here no role of stomata and cuticular. Here they are going to lose the water from the margin, like here. This special type of a margin are called hydatodes. Okay, I am going to write the spelling. Hydatodes. Hydatodes, what are they? They are the special kind of the openings which are present on the margin of the leaf. Okay, Like guard cell have a special opening, that is the stomata. So same, hydatodes are also the openings which are on the margin of the leaf. Now bleeding condition. Okay, exactly the meaning of the bleeding means when a person get cut, so a red color liquid, which means blood, it expels out from the body. But in a plant condition, bleeding is the same only. Okay, the bleeding is the same only, but the only thing, this happens when a plant get injured. How a plant get injured? Whenever we cut this stem part, okay, whenever we cut this stem part, the plant sap get escapes from the rupture or the cut surface of the plant. This means, why sap, not fluid? Because blood is a fluid, right? So many of them will be thinking, so it should be a plant fluid, right? No, it is a plant sap. Why sap? Because see, water and minerals both are going to exude out of the plants. Okay, both are going to get excrete out of this part. So this is a bleeding condition. Where happens the bleeding condition? Example of this: milkweed, palm, grapevine, etc. There are many examples, but mostly bleeding condition you are going to see in the milkweed condition. Milkweed condition. Okay, and the bleeding inside the plant is not red in color, it is quite whitish. If you are going to see the videos of the milkweed, you will get to understand about this part. And this bleeding condition is a very slow process and occurs in a fewer plants only. So there is a difference between a guttation and a bleeding. See, guttation occurs from the edges and it can occur from the any injured part, okay, wherever we get a cut. See, the exuded is mainly water, but here sap and sugars, they occur during early morning or late night because of the temperature, and these injuries can occur at any time. Okay, banana, okay, it occurs in all plants, they have been cut or injured, but mainly you are going to see in the milkweed only. Transpiration and guttation. Transpiration are of three types. Guttation are took through the hydatodes. Transpiration can occur during a day because in the night the stomata are closed. So guttation occurs in the night because of the temperature reasons. Water is lost in the water vapor form, and they are lost in the form of the droplets. Okay, vapor means the gaseous form, but the droplet means the liquid state. The water is pure because only water is lost, but here they can lose organic and inorganic solvent also. Means some of the salts which are present can also get exuded out. Transpiration gives a cooling effect, but guttation does not gives us the cooling effect. Okay, it helps to regulate the body temperature of the plants. Okay, it is less significance. This transpiration occurs during dry day and guttation occurs during the humid periods because of the temperature reasons. So this was the end of the part 2 of absorption by roots. Thank you, students.